Okay, quick one. So there's the demo out for this new Ikemen project called Capcom vs. Square. And it's doing a thing that I think is really cool that a few more people are doing with Ikemen, which is they're trying to make like a proper game out of it. Like, this isn't just we're making Ronald McDonald fight Peter Griffin again. Like, there's not salty bet stuff. We're like actually making a game with like intentional systems and characters. And that's really cool. This is also a demo, and that means some things can and should be changed. And unfortunately, in order to identify what things need to be changed, someone needs to be a buzzkill, and that's going to be me. So let's explain the combo system really quickly. So this is like taking a lot of cues from Marvel vs. Capcom. In particular, as far as the combos are concerned, combos are predicated mainly on these Magic Series chains. That is PND ketchup, by the way. So Magic Series air combos, Magic Series chains, and also air combos. Now, the juggles in particular work on what I think is an admirably simple rule, which is if you put your opponent into a juggle state, which is basically any time they are knocked down while in the air, like an aerial knockdown, they can be hit by special moves, supers, and aerial normals. So basically what that means is, like I showed you before, you can do sweep into special move, you can do sweep into super. And the aerial normals are part of this rule because the air combos are the same thing. The air combos are a type of juggle. And that makes sense. It's one unified combo system. It says you're having to program like juggle rules separately from the Marvel air combos. Unfortunately, this admirably simple rule is a little too simple because aside from the restrictions on what you are allowed to combo with, there are no other restrictions. So you are allowed to use aerial normals in juggles, and that's the only restriction. And what this means is that literally every character has practical, relatively easy corner infinites. For example, with Han, we can do something like this. Something like that. And you can just loop that until they get stunned or die. Well, get stunned and then die. Touch of stun into touch of sad. So that is the biggest, most obvious hurdle for the developers of this game, is figuring out how do we deal with this. Now, at a base level, I think the jump loops are kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool, especially because every character is able to do it, but I can see this getting old really quickly. So you do have a few options. There are a lot of small changes you could make to like move properties, maybe. You could like decrease the launch height on sweeps, increase recovery on certain moves so that you don't get to jump up. Maybe, I don't know exactly what's possible within the framework of Ikemen, but maybe you can set it up so that only super jump normals are capable of hitting people in juggles. So that way you get to keep the like air combo stuff, but you don't get to, you know, so you can keep the air combos, but you don't get to, you know, continue with just normal moves after. Another thing that's worth pointing out here as well is that you do have this air reset animation that occurs after, specifically after you get hit by launchers and after you get hit by jumping light attacks. Now, for whatever reason, even though this is an aerial reset animation, you maintain your hurt box and you can't block. So, if you wanted to make the air reset animation invincible, that would work. You could also just replace all of it's just a knockdown now. You could do that. I don't know, you kind of have a lot of options. If you want to be able to keep the freedom of just being able to do whatever the hell you want, I think some options are you could change Dizzy to work like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Dizzy, where it just kind of ejects you out of the combo and you immediately become actionable again once you hit the ground. Or you could, and this is probably a lot more difficult to implement, but you could implement a mechanic that basically lets you burst out of combos for 1 bar. I don't know. Those are just some thoughts I had. I play a lot of fighting games, but I've not made one, and ultimately this is not my game. I'm just kind of spitballing suggestions for the devs to try and figure out what they might want to do to address this, because, like I said, I think this is kind of cool, but I can see it getting old really quickly, so if you want to do something, I think that's probably a good idea. But I say this so that you can address it. You know, I want to see this game become the best version of what it can be, and I'm sure the devs want that too. So, here's some homework for you for the final release. Looking forward to it.